What is up, guys? We're here for another episode of AJ and the Savages, the Cage MMA podcast. I believe it's episode 3, and we're talking about UFC 249. It's the post-fight show. Let's get into it. The first fight of the night was Sam Alvey versus Ryan Spann. What'd you guys think of this fight, first and foremost? Tirth, I know you have an opinion on it.
Well, this fight, I'll be honest, I was very hyped for Spann. I know you were hyping it up. You were excited to see Superman Spann going in and throwing down a tough fight. But Alvey ended up putting up way more of a fight than I was expecting, especially based off all the hype I had heard behind Spann. He ended up going the distance, and they fought the whole way through.
Dude, it was very close. The first round, I started seeing that Alvey was able to land some hooks and that Spann was trying to wrestle him really hard and like couldn't really keep him down. And I was like, damn, Alvey's here to brawl. He's here to fight. Now, granted, Spann took a decision win. Wasn't the win that I expected. This guy's coming off knockout wins. I'm thinking he's coming in winning by knockout, but at the end of the day, who knows where his mind was at. Maybe this quarantine fight didn't have him training properly. We don't know. Or Sam Alvey's just that tough, and we underestimated him. Maybe that's it, too.
Yeah.
It was a scrap.
I mean,
either of you guys want to throw an opinion on that fight, man?
I have no opinion.
I didn't catch the early one, so I didn't catch any fights until the Michelle Waterson fight because I was at work. So I missed the first few. So I'll kind of set out these first 3 fights, but then I'll jump right in once we get to it.
Yeah, this fight, unfortunately, I was not able to see. This was the only fight that I did not see, but everything else I saw. So I don't have much of an opinion on the fight.
All right, jump into the next one, Tirth. What was it?
All right, the next one is probably my favorite fight of the night. I mean, other than the final one with Tony and Gaethje, but Bryce Mitchell versus Charles Rosa. This was fantastic. I have not seen a pure jiu-jitsu domination like this in my entire life. And I mean, I don't know if I'll ever see one like this again. I believe
one-sided.
The end of it was
absolutely one-sided.
30-25, all judges.
One judge had a 30-24, man.
30-24.
That's
30.
That's 10-8, 10-8, 10-8.
Wow.
That is as bad of a beating you can get without getting stopped.
Exactly.
That's insane. It was a jiu-jitsu showcase for his dominance on top control, his takedown ability, and his creativity. At the end of the day, though, he could not tap Charles Rosa, so I got to give Rosa some respect. He has a very good defense.
Especially coming off that neck injury that they mentioned multiple times, a neck injury where he had atrophy of the muscle, a tough injury to go against a grappler, against someone so submissive, dominating, that it is so dangerous. And I could not believe he didn't tap that entire match. Like especially with the number of attempts Mitchell had with, I believe, the twister, that only
like 5 of them?
Yeah, like five attempts of this submission that only he is known to do, really. So just coming out and putting on a performance like that was unbelievable. And even Rosa going out with the loss, but surviving 3 rounds against this just beast of a grappler. Mad respect. You already know. I wouldn't last 2 minutes in that guy in there with Mitchell. I mean,
I don't think he lasts 2 seconds, to be honest.
Exactly.
You're right.
Avery, what's your take on that one, man? I saw you had an opinion.
Yeah, the amount of times that he was able to defend off arm triangles and twisters was remarkable, especially with the neck injury Tirth brought up. That is huge strain on his neck. So I was very surprised, even though he is a jiu-jitsu black belt himself, but I was very surprised on how many times he was able to defend that. But like Bryce Mitchell's jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. He passed his guard so many times, he just landed on mount just with ease within a couple seconds. It was beautiful to watch.
He made it look so easy, dude. He made it just, it was domination, dude. Absolute domination. Insane fight. Awesome. Bryce Mitchell is definitely a guy to watch out for in that division. I believe it was featherweight, correct? It was featherweight?
Yeah, it was featherweight.
Dude, it was definitely a fighter to watch, is Bryce Mitchell. He's undefeated in professional fights. He did lose a fight on The Ultimate Fighter, but at the end of the day, it doesn't count on his record. Yeah. He's looked fantastic since coming into the UFC. Keep an eye on Bryce Mitchell. Keep an eye on Bryce.
Jiu-jitsu is beautiful, man. I love it. I wish I could have seen it, man.
You'll see his next one. Now you know. Now you won't sleep on
Now you know to look out for him, because especially considering his weight class, you know, like jiu-jitsu could get harder as you go into heavier weight classes, and featherweight is one of those where if he has that just amazing skill and talent in it, and he goes against the perfect opponents that he's able to handle well, he can go a long way with this. And I could see multiple fights through submission.
I believe this. And this, I believe, is fact. Grapplers are better at lower weight classes.
Yep.
Charles Rosa's grappling skill is probably, if in terms of grappling skill to skill, is probably better than a lot of high-level heavyweights, high-level light heavyweights. The lower weight class guys are better grappling practitioners a lot of the time, whereas the heavier guys, there's going to be more chance of a one-punch knockout. So they need less ways to win, right? Ngannou, we could fucking knock out one shot. We'll talk about him later. That's just an example. Tell me about the next fight, though, man. Let's get into
the next fight. Moving on, we have Vicente Luque versus Nico Price.
This is a fight that I was very excited for after really thinking about, oh, this is the rematch. These guys both come to bang, and it delivered. Nico Price has heart, man. Insane heart. At the end of the day, his eye was destroyed after.
Yeah.
It looked like he was going to lose his eye. Looked like that fight when Kimbo sliced backyard that guy, and then they backyard finally said he lost his eye. Like, it was that bad. Luque, very skilled fighter, but one weakness I have to just bring up with Luque right off the bat is he gets hit a lot. He gets hit a lot against a guy with Nico Price's awkwardness and skill, but at the end of the day, Nico Price is not the upper echelon of fighter at that weight class, and Vicente Luque does get hit. So that's a concern I have for him in his next fight, which I'm going to actually mention after this. Avery, I know you might have a piece on this one, so I want to give you a shot.
Yeah, they were both really trading. But with the exchanges, Luque did get the better of Price. And that all led up to that huge left hook that Luque landed. It was just straight trading the entire fight. And then they were both banged up, and Nico looked pretty bad at the end.
Yeah, he definitely got hit. He got hit too, man. Both guys really got touched. Here, you have anything you want to add to that, bro?
No, I actually missed that fight because I was making burgers.
So let me tell you a little bit more. Vicente Luque then goes to say he wants to fight Geoff Neal. I believe Geoff Neal is coming off of a destructive win of Mike Perry. I don't know if you could pull up Geoff Neal for me real quick here just to confirm that.
Let me look it up.
But if Geoff Neal, from what I've seen, is a very heavy power puncher. Vicente Luque gets hit a lot, and he calls him out. I think that's a nightmare matchup.
What weight class was this?
170.
170.
Okay. All
right, AJ, what did you want to know of
Geoff Neal? His last fight.
His last fight against Mike Perry?
He won, correct.
Yes.
And who did he beat before that?
Nico Price.
Exactly, and he knocked him out how quick?
Nico Price, he knocked him out at the second round, 239 in, so 2
Okay,
about halfway.
So he's knocked out. He's knocked out guys pretty intensely, right? He's shown big power. Vicente Luque gets hit a lot. I think that's a terrible matchup. Luque is very risky calling for that fight. If you win, it's awesome, but it's a dangerous fight. Very dangerous. Well, let's jump to the next fight then. Let's get into it.
The next fight, we had the women's strawweight. We had Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson.
Avery, let's hear your take on this one first and foremost.
This is probably other than Jorgen versus Greg Hardy. We'll get to that later. This is probably the most disappointing fight of the.
I was disappointed.
I was disappointed. I was so disappointed. Esparza shot for so many takedowns, but it wasn't even it was very predictable, and she shot for takedowns very far away, not even within range.
Not even setting it up, right?
Pretty much. And then when she did, Michelle Waterson defended it. She sprawled. She was able to get out. And then Michelle Waterson, I wish she was more aggressive. She's a striker. So
she doesn't always turn up. I've seen this from her before. Doesn't always turn it up, man.
I know,
it's
that's
just
so unfortunate.
For some reason, but she's got all the tools. So.
Yeah, she has all the tools. Her striking's great, but she doesn't want to use it. I mean, she throw leg kicks once in a while, and she'd only throw. She throws so many faint jabs, but never do anything with it. I'm just like, geez.
It was disappointing.
It was.
Chris, you want to add something to that as well?
Yeah, man. Me and Avery, I agree with everything Avery said. We were talking about this at work earlier today. Very disappointed, man. I wanted my girl Michelle to come out with the dub.
I know.
It's
we
all
all
right,
picked
though.
Michelle, I believe.
I know. I think we all did, man.
Yeah.
I think the judges. I think one of the judges. I was confused how
30-27-1 to the other.
Yes.
Like what?
Yeah.
I was very confused. I think that one judge just gave Esparza, points, gave her credit just for, it seemed like she was pushing the fight. She seemed to be the one that was moving forward the whole fight. But I don't know, man. Very disappointing. It's okay though, man, because I still got my other MMA girlfriend, Valentina Shevchenko, bro. She'll bring it home for the fan. I'm not gonna get into that, but I was very, I was very disappointed. Man. I felt like Michelle looked good, but like Avery said, I think
she couldn't
the
turn
other
it
judges
on.
had
She couldn't turn it on.
Yeah,
the judges, it could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, she didn't go for it. So you can't be upset if you don't turn it up. You don't go for it. Claudia, dude, Carla was coming at her. I would say Claudia, bro, was coming after her. Sure, they might not be landing. Sure, they might be missing. The aggression won her the fight. And that's it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Even
bro.
if it's
I think
you
the same
say,
thing.
it's not the best decision.
That's what I think too, bro. That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
we have
let's
a
get
similar
to the
case.
next
Moving on onto the main card, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Let's get to the
next fight we had was Olenek versus Verdum. Now this,
I have to say something right off the bat. Alexei Olenek came to win that fight very intensely.
I told y'all, man.
He came at Verdum intense. At the end of the day, absolutely, you guys told me. I don't know. I guess maybe I went in with the wrong mindset, right? I'm not thinking and taking into consideration Verdum tested positive for anabolic steroids, and he's taken like two and a half years off. So those combined, so now even if he would have just came right back, getting off the steroids wouldn't have been the same fighter. Now you give him a layoff at 40 years old. The guy came in there and looked like he was really not able to compete with Olenek on the feet. Like it just
Olenek looked good. He looked like physically strong.
He looked leaner. He looked meaner.
Yeah, he looked
mean fighting
machine, bro.
Olenek came.
He came.
Bro.
I thought I scored it like this. I scored a first round absolutely for Olenek.
Yeah.
A third round absolutely for Verdum. But at the end of the day, the second round was kind of toss up. He kind of close, but Olenek was pushing the pace. He's pushing the pace. Doesn't matter if the shots are not the cleanest, not the best. The judges say, okay, in a fight where neither is done that much in the round, I'm giving it to the more aggressive guy.
Verdum had me scared for a second though, and he had that armbar. Oh my.
Dude,
Dude, I was scared, bro.
once he was on top.
When he was on the ground,
he had me scared. Yeah, he had me scared for a little
bit. Olenek had great defense, though. Like, the multiple escapes he had, or always turning into the arm bars and everything, he survived well. And
Olenek's been very
always brought it back to the stand-up game, which he knew he was dominating. And as you mentioned earlier, he was always the one pushing the pace on his feet. And so that really just gave him the win he needed. Even though Verdum might have been more aggressive on the ground, it's just the majority of the stand-up being dominated by Olenek, it just gave it the win.
Dude, at the end of the day, and let's be honest, if you're looking at skill-wise, technique, Olenek is not a technical striker by any means. Does not have that much. But at the end of the day, it works for him. He's able to do what he wants, and Verdum does not have, at least at this point, the explosiveness to compete. He didn't have power in his hands. He couldn't threaten him at all. He got on top and was giving up the top position. Sure, Olenek was fighting it off, but why are you giving up that back control? I don't get it. I disagree with that.
Especially when
he lost that twice. That
was weird.
I was very surprised with the amount of jiu-jitsu this man knows and how great he is. He dropped back twice and on Olenek, even though Olenek is good within a sense where his jiu-jitsu, but you're fighting a world champion right here in jiu-jitsu, and he gave up back twice.
He did not show up though. If you saw the gut, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way his stomach looked. Olenek came to win that fight. Look at his shape. You saw Olenek. He was looking great shape, super fit. So to me, Olenek deserved it. Amazing. Absolute respect to Olenek. God bless him. Great win.
Real quick before we sign off this fight, just to kind of throw some numbers on there too. The total strike in comparison that we had 150 total strikes landed for Olenek, and we only had 70 coming out of Verdum. So
that's less than
double the strikes and double the significant strikes as well. 53 for Verdum and 94 for Olenek.
That's a fight that Verdum, if he does plan to come back, needs to really forget about and try to reinvigorate himself. Do I see it happening? I don't know. He's older. His career, his best days are behind him from what I saw, 100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, let's jump to this next one.
The next fight we have was the final one on the prelims, I believe. Yeah. Anthony Pettis versus Donald Cerrone.
Solid fight. Absolutely. It was a solid fight. Cowboy Cerrone did not go to lose. He came to win that fight. He scrapped. He gave a dog fight. Anthony Pettis better technically on the feet by a bit. Cowboy had some dominant positions on top. I know a lot of different opinions on the scoring. Some people say it could have gone either way. I'm just going to say, Pettis at the end of the day landed the better strikes on the feet, plain and simple. And from the top control, it's not like Cowboy was doing that much.
On MMA Junkie, the Instagram, bro, a lot of people seem to think that Cowboy came out with that one.
Dude,
that I was reading the
I get
comments.
that. I do get that. But
And
at the end of the day, I also
good,
don't.
He did.
He looked good. He looked better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of wrote
ask.
off Cowboy for like just honest. I'm not gonna lie, like no cat, bro. I kind of wrote him off a little bit. Came off a tough loss against Connor, but he looked good. He still has it, bro. He's fighting like top tier talent.
That's the thing with him, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I think he needs a one-off fight, and he needs to drop.
He needs to get the W, man. But he looked good though. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's just sad when Cerrone does fight the best of the best. He just gets manhandled. Yeah. But like when he fights everybody below, like I don't know, top 6, it's like
not even top 6. I'm gonna say top 3 even.
Yeah, top 3 even. Yeah, from what we've seen, he's able to hold his own at the very least, if not just kill the bottom of the people.
Yeah, it's just it wasn't his day. Anthony Pettis. I didn't see any signs from Pettis that he's like back, like Pettis is on a challenge for the world title. No, I'm hearing they want to. I'm hearing at least from some media outlets they want to do Rafael dos Anjos versus Pettis. I think Pettis gets starched. I think Pettis gets beat up. I don't think Pettis has a chance against him. Still, I don't see any reason. They fought before, and dos Anjos really beat him bad. I don't see a difference in the rematch. But at the end of the day, who knows?
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. MMA math never works out. So
who knows? We'll see. But at the end of the day, we saw Cowboy Cerrone at least show he's got a little left in the tank. At least he showed he can still fight.
He looked good, man.
He 100% does, man.
Yeah.
He got
but 4 losses in a row is never good on a
wrestler. That is very
He needs
bad.
a W, man. He needs a W.
He really does. He needs a gimme fight, man. For nothing else.
UFC doesn't give you him, bro.
Yeah, even though I predicted Pettis to win, I low-key wanted Cerrone just pull it out, just because the 4 losses in a row is not good at all.
Yeah,
it just sounds bad.
Yeah, I respect him too much to be seeing him lose like that.
I mean, like all the fighters he's gone against, man. Ferguson, Gaethje, then McGregor, and now Pettis. Like,
yeah, man. He's
facing
the best, man.
Intense brawlers, man. It's insane. Like the fact that he even stays on his feet for a fight like this and doesn't get knocked out prematurely is. This goes to show at least he comes in there when he's down low. He at least comes in there prepared and he's ready to play it off as best as he can.
I have a question for AJ particularly. Like Cowboys grappling
high level.
Is it really high level?
It is high level, but he don't use it. He does not use his grappling very often. He took Pettis down a couple of times. Pettis is decent grappler, but he's definitely he lost. At the end of the day, Pettis lost his last fight by submission to Diego Ferreira, and most people don't know who Diego Ferreira is.
Yeah.
Facts. So we'll see. Let's jump to the main card now. It's time to talk about the best
fight of the night.
Yeah.
Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro.
Let's put you to sleep. I'm watching that fight before.
Fucking spit on that shit.
Especially you're throwing up. That fight right there, maybe one of the worst fights of all time. Greg Hardy, he won the fight, sure. But Yorgan De Castro didn't throw a punch after he broke his foot.
What was the injury? Does anyone know what Yorgan
broke his toe or foot?
Yeah, they were saying he broke something in his foot. I don't know if they ever confirmed it. AJ, do you know if they put anything out about that today or something?
To be honest, I didn't even look at it. I don't know. I don't even think they cared to talk about it. The fight was so bad.
Oh, dude.
That is so bad.
Whoever didn't see that fight, you're lucky.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, I was pissed.
Your life.
You didn't miss a damn thing.
Greg Hardy, I can't blame him really. I mean, he didn't push the pace that much, but he was very cautious of his opponent's power. He did what he had to do to win. The opponent stood there. It was a pretty snooze of a fight. Yorgan De Castro just gave up his undefeated record like that. Not even
rounds 2 and 3 off, bro.
Dude, I broke my foot. So you got a loss, buddy. Like, it don't matter. Your foot's broken. At least give something.
Literally.
That's my thing. It's like, you broke your foot, and obviously, like, it's hard to fight with that pain in your mind and every time you step, but at least throw some punches. Like, try to get in there, try to work Greg a little bit, maybe try to throw even some counters, but he really didn't. He really was just backing off as soon as, I believe it was like halfway through the second round, it was all retreat. All retreat.
I
so
predicted
bad.
that one on the money accurate, but I wasn't happy with it. You
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
It
Very
wasn't
disappointing, bro.
it
Jorgen
wasn't
looked good
fun.
round one.
Yeah, he came out very
He
aggressive.
did.
He came
Round
out
one,
very
before
aggressive.
his injury, I guess. He was
Dude,
doing well.
he was fighting great. He was
Yeah, he
really
looked
picking
good.
apart Greg Hardy's left leg, like the
Yeah.
back of his thigh.
He was
Dude,
starting. Yep.
Yes.
he was literally.
Oh, it was red, bro.
It was
Greg Hardy's
super
leg
red.
was.
First
I remember-
It was
round.
hurting.
I remember the commentators. I remember Joe. I remember even us just yelling at the TV, "Keep going for that leg, get that leg!" And I even wanted his coaches to tell him that, because I get it. You mean like Jorgen? He's shorter. He's shorter. He had the smaller reach, and Greg's a big boy. Like I thought Jorgen was big, but Greg's a big boy when I see them compared to each other. So I was hoping that at least De Castro, he would at least stay on the outside and just nip at the leg, get a little bit of damage, at least remove some mobility from Greg and play off that, as best as he could. But what can you do? I guess at the end of the day, I wasn't the one with the broken foot in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
I would never know. But
Wouldn't know.
Now,
But at the end of the
All I know,
day, it was
man,
just
yeah.
disappointing to watch as a fan
really
of
is.
fights.
Yeah.
But Jorgen De Castro only really is known for a big punch and leg kicks, right? He couldn't throw the leg kicks. He couldn't hit Greg Hardy with the punch. Now he's got no other tools.
yeah. I mean,
But
like,
yeah.
what sucks is that Chris mentioned this before in our group chat that Thiago Santos literally tore
was
almost
just gonna
every
say that.
ligament in his leg and fought John Jones until
But
the very end.
here's
bro.
what I'm going to tell you is the difference. Thiago Santos is a proven tough son of a bitch.
He's
fighting for a
beast.
world title. He earned that world title. Jorgen De Castro was undefeated and had never been in a adverse position. So you learn what type of fighters they are. Now we know. Hopefully Jorgen doesn't lose his job, because if I'm Dana White, I'm like, this guy really
hope
didn't
not, bro.
impress me. He didn't come to fight. How long do I want to keep him around?
You don't wish that upon anybody to lose their job, man.
I definitely don't. I definitely hope he doesn't. But I could see why the UFC might be like, okay, this guy really laid low. Like, they don't like that when you coast, man, especially coasting to a loss. But let's jump to the next fight. That fight's a snoozer. I don't even want to keep talking about it.
Well, the next fight we got on the card was Jeremy Stevens versus Calvin Kattar.
Dude,
Dang,
Calvin
this is one of those
Kattar,
fights I also
Calvin
did.
Kattar. I'm representing Massachusetts with the Boston basketball shirt, representing Calvin Kattar. What a performance by him. I expected a decision victory for him. He goes out and kills him with the elbow, splits his head wide open. Jeremy Stevens never saw that coming. What a fight. What a fight. Jeremy Stevens was brawling with him. They were going after it. Awesome fight. Great performance. Calvin Kattar is a title challenger very soon. He needs to win a couple more, but he's definitely in the mix. 100%.
Dude, he's good, man.
He's solid.
Very good.
Very, very solid.
I was very
Calvin Kattar, man. You know, we don't know Jeremy Stevens, bro. The dude has power, man. He's a big fighter. I love watching Jeremy Stevens fight, but I didn't know too much about Calvin Kattar coming into this fight. So I was really paying attention, because I know AJ was talking about him a little bit, but he looked good, man. I mean, he got hands on him. That elbow was sick. That's not what split what Jeremy Stevens' forehead open. It was when the ground and pound after.
Oh yeah,
that elbow on the ground.
Ooh, that left elbow.
The left elbow, the dive-in left elbow.
Jeremy Stevens was leaking, bro. But
he got beat up,
man.
bro.
I can tell he has hands, dude. He looked really good.
He's a killer,
I was impressed,
man.
bro.
I was very impressed as
name,
well,
bro.
man. I definitely think Calvin Kattar is a guy to watch out for at 145. I think stylistically he could match up very well versus the champion Volkanovski there. Yes, he was coming off a loss before this, so he needs a win or two, but he's in the mix. Absolutely in the mix.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I'm a big
Definitely
fan.
someone to look out for.
Same here. Now, one thing I want to mention. Jeremy Stevens did not make weight by 4.5 pounds. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I know.
What
the hell?
I bet I can get it.
He's not what is he, not professional, or what? How he ate too many tacos?
Here's what it is.
Tacos the day before.
I think it's the quarantine thing. Maybe he didn't have didn't have his normal routine. He was off. Like he's made weight in the past, so I just think
it's only two
he
times
was off.
he's missed weight.
Yeah,
maybe 2 times. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head.
Real quick, as like a non-avid MMA fan, what happens when you don't make weight like that? Do you get
you lose a purse deduction? It's for every pound, a certain amount. Like I don't know what his was. Maybe it was 30% of his purse, and you can't get a win bonus either.
So wait, what is a purse deduction?
All right, if you don't know the person,
I mean,
like your salary. If I say,
okay.
let's use an example. He was making 10,000. They take 30% of that. Oh, now it goes to the other guy.
See, I don't know if purse stood for something.
Oh, no.
That's what I was confused.
Nah, man, Jeremy Steam is still my boy, man. That dude, I love watching that dude.
He's
fight.
a scrappy dude.
Every
His
time
missing
he
weight's
fights,
not
I'm gonna
good.
watch.
He did show up to fight though.
I
Gotta give him credit.
Yeah,
Good that Cater won for the division, though. At the end of the day, a guy missing weight and then winning is never good.
Yeah, that is not.
Well, let's jump to the next fight.
Let's jump to the quickest fight of the night.
You want me to say it? Want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Francis Ngannou starches Jairzinho Rozenstruik in one sprint. Just comes at him with insanely awkward and wild shots. I mean, Jairzinho Rozenstruik looked like, oh man, he's gonna be tough to hit with his hands up, his leg kicks, he's coming in. Francis says, fuck that. No. He sprints at him with just crazy shots. Jairzinho tries to throw back and is just unconscious against
the one left, man. The one left that touched him and put him to sleep.
Then he ripped him with a few extra, like, don't call me out.
Yeah. You got like a good 10 seconds of nice little boxing, you know, little taps here and there. And then Ngannou just says, F it, bro.
Chin
up and everything.
He didn't
just
he
gorilla swinging
at this dude. Power, raw power.
Dude, he's
literally sent that man
261 pounds of muscle. He's ripped.
Scariest
he's shredded 260
in the UFC, bro.
Scariest man in the UFC.
Well, not to mention, also Ngannou's got apparently one of the strongest punches in the world currently. I looked up some metric for like the punching power, and they didn't give me a scale for the units, but it was like 130K units of some punching. Like I don't know where like Muhammad Ali or like
Mike Tyson
Mike Tyson would rank in that. I couldn't find their numbers, but
dude,
hey,
they're insane.
Dude,
that's wild.
Francis Ngannou, but honestly, I didn't like the technique on it.
No,
I mean, as a boxer, you know, as a guy,
dude, chin up, just swinging, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, no technique. At the end of the day, but that's what's scary. It's like how even if you hit him. This guy's 260 ripped, right? So you know he's conditioned as fuck. He's got a solid chin. He's in great shape, and it's the beginning of the fight. How do you stop a guy sprinting at you like that? If you cover up, he's gonna knock you out. Yeah. Dude, the only way to stop it is you better fucking go for a takedown, bro.
Yeah.
DC was saying that he would have took him down 1 second in, bro.
Dude, DC said that, but at the end of the day, in the moment when it comes, I don't know how you respond to a guy.
Oh, yeah,
bro.
You need to. I said I would start my fight on the back. You don't want to strike with that guy because if he touches you, you go to sleep. It's not if he hits you a couple of times. It's one touch and you're unconscious. You're not rocked. You're out cold on the floor.
Yeah, I don't remember who said this quote, but one of the commentators had said this during the fight right after it happened. They said it was like watching a bazooka go against a pistol. Like
Joe Rogan.
Difference in power in the punch. Just unrealistic.
And you know what? Jairzinho Rozenstruik's a really big puncher.
Yes.
Yeah, I know he's a big,
And do you know that he has like 80 kickboxing fights?
What?
Oh, really?
This guy's got like 80 kickboxing fights. Like 80, dude, this guy fought professional kickboxing like at a high level, and he just got starched in 20 seconds. Francis Ngannou is a specimen. It doesn't matter his technique. This guy is trained insane. He trains hard as fuck. He's in the best physical shape I've ever seen. If there's ever been an Ivan Drago in MMA, Francis Ngannou. He's the real life Drago, dude. Like this guy is the scary. There ain't no Rocky in this fucking movie. From what it's it could be a Rocky.
Yeah,
I don't know, buddy.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Ivan Drago's the main character.
Like just scary. He lost and he came back way better. The losses were nothing better. They were fantastic for him. Some fighters need losses to improve.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. Losing 2 fights in the UFC, he's come back and looked truly unbeatable. It's got like 2 minutes of 30 seconds fight time in his last 4. He knocked everybody out.
Dude,
one shot.
Whatever training camp he went to after Lewis, they supercharged him, man.
Dude,
after that, it's just been knockout after knockout. And this in the latest of the trilogy, man, just unbelievable.
Don't call out Francis Ngannou for Christ's sake.
Don't
this
ever.
Guy called, dude, Jairzinho called him out, and to get beat like that sucks.
The dude, respect to Rozenstruik, but
he's a good fighter. He's not bad. He's probably in the mix. He might win some fights.
What he was getting
Who
into,
knows?
Man.
He didn't know, dude. And now, if he fights again, I don't know how the hell building your way back from that 20-second knockout loss is not easy. It's gonna take some fights.
Yeah, like the fact that he absolutely destroyed a top 10 fighter in his weight class with no technique.
Zero.
Within 20 seconds.
No.
Imagine if he was actually trying.
Dude, because he can throw technique, like he has skill.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's like, okay, this guy wants to fight technical. I'm gonna sprint at you and I'm gonna touch you once, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Just once.
I cannot even imagine the
Punch.
power. Oh my god, I just can't. He deserves the title fight. Like, okay, DC Stipe, fight it out. Whoever wins, if DC wins and retires, do the vacant title. This fucking give it to him. Francis needs to be fighting for a title in his next fight. This guy has looked insane in his past 4 fights.
Yeah.
Truly the scariest guy I've ever seen in fist fighting. Like, I don't give a fuck. Right. Even like Mike Tyson was fucking obviously terrifying too in boxing. But in MMA, this is the scariest guy I've ever seen.
For sure, bro.
Scariest guy I've ever seen.
Crazy.
Dude, if I'm John Jones, I'm not trying to take that fight at fucking heavyweight.
Dude, John Jones is not going up weight. Dude, he's staying.
Does not make sense.
No.
He
wants to break records in light heavyweight. Yeah, he wants to break records in light heavyweight. He's staying, bro. He ain't going up, bro.
Dude,
nobody wants
unless
that,
you get him down quick. You going to sleep. You're not getting a second chance. You missed that takedown.
And I love John Jones, bro. I love John Jones, man. I love watching him fight, but God, I don't even want to see it, bro. Honestly, I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see that happen to one of your heroes, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to see the GOAT, man.
I don't want to see Cormier fight him. I don't want to see Cormier go out like that.
Yeah, I would.
If Cormier fights him and goes out in one punch, bro, his legacy is so damaged from that. Fuck that. Don't make that fight. Don't take that fight. Don't do it.
It's scary, man.
Avoid it at all costs.
Just like even though Cormier probably has a lot more skill, does not.
Rosenstrike has balls for calling him out. Honestly, that is a scary dude right there.
Scary. That's it, dude. Fucking crazy. Well, let's get to the next fight. Let's get to the next one.
This co-main event of the night. Henry Cejudo versus Dominique Cruz. Now this
Henry Cejudo. Say like
Cejudo. Triple C.
The king of cringe. He wins the fight in the second round, and he also retires after. Now, before we talk about that retirement, we need to jump into the stoppage. People complain, Dominic Cruz complains. Here's my opinion. I absolutely, if I'm the referee, see how he stopped that fight. But I absolutely see how the fighter could be upset with that stoppage. He's peppering shots. They're not knockout punches. He's peppering you with punches. So if I hit you 12 times with peppering shots, right, is that still damaging you, or is it just touching you? So that's a tricky thing. If I'm the ref, though, he got hit 12 unanswered times. The only argument is he was going towards the fence. As soon as the ref jumped in, he had got right up to his knee. Exactly. I believe he was on his way up to his feet. I believe it's a world title fight. So I do believe give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him go to sleep in there. It's for the world title. It's the biggest fight of his career. But I understand the ref. Stop it. That's what I think.
Who's even mentioned he had told the ref before, like, don't stop me until I'm out.
And that's the thing.
I almost wish that if the ref had stopped it, it wouldn't have been at the point where he did it. Almost maybe have even done it earlier than that, or just not at all. Because you're exactly right. And Dominic even mentioned this in the post-fight interview he had done. He mentioned how he was on the way up when he was stopped. And I see that. And like being a professional fighter at this level in a championship fight, and you're stopped while you're regaining consciousness and while you're still on your feet and going up. That's the biggest letdown for me.
And he did seem coherent when he got up. I have to give him that.
100%.
So I believe he recovered.
He is a star fighter. You know he's taking way more than this, way more punishment. He knows, like, I don't know. I don't believe – I see why the ref had to stop, because 11 unanswered shots is a lot. It's a lot to take, and as a ref, you just see it as the guy is getting pummeled. But Cruz – he should have been given more time.
I think so. I think given more time, but I understand the stoppage.
Yeah, AJ, you said it better than any of us could have. It was both sides. You see both points, but let's be honest, they both prepared very well. I was very surprised with Dominic Cruz's performance.
He looked fantastic.
He looked great. But then Cejudo, he knew he'd be tricky on the feet, so he's got to pick apart the legs. Don't matter left or right. He's got to. He did slow him down, and that's how he was able to catch him. But
it's interesting though. Cejudo was using the leg kick, knowing Dominic Cruz has had knee injuries, which that's fine, no problem with it. But it makes me wonder if they fought in their primes. That's a very, very different, interesting matchup, and that proved it to me. Cejudo goes out retiring. When you retire on top like that, there's two ways to look at it. Oh my God, you retired on top, you're so great, or you're avoiding something. You're avoiding future challengers. You're going out in a moment where, yes, you won that fight, but it was close. Dominic Cruz would probably want a rematch if possible. Jose Aldo's in the mix. There's a lot of guys that are very tough in that weight class, and I think Henry Cejudo's thinking, why do I need to fight all these savages when I'm not going to make as much money and it's not a huge fight? It's not going to sell. So to me, his retirement was either one of two things. He really doesn't want to fight anymore, or he's like, hey, let's get the money right. Let me retire. I'll come back eventually. And then he gets a money fight. A money fight for him could probably be challenging for the 45-pound title. I'd like to see that. Why not? Vacate that belt. Go up challenge for the 45-pound title. Let's go crazy with it. Or he takes a couple of years off, and then he comes back and he challenges for the title, trying to make like a GSP type return.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think the UFC is known for that. I mean, they're always retiring fighters and then bringing them back. I mean, even with Dominic Cruz, they did the similar thing. But
he was injured at least, though.
Yeah.
This is just chosen. Like, Avery, go.
I do want to. Oh, go ahead.
Yo, go ahead, Chris. I'll say in a sec.
Yeah, I just want to say, I do think Henry Cejudo will be back. I do think he wants a bigger pay. He wants that paycheck, man. He wants that money. You know what I'm saying? But also, you guys pretty much talked about everything. I agree with everything you guys were saying. But I just want to take it a little bit back to Dominic Cruz. I think, although I agree with everything I said, I think he was a little bit childish in the way he was acting about it. Like, I don't know if you guys follow MMA Junkie. I know AJ does, but he was saying, like, he started saying the ref smelled like tobacco and like alcohol or something.
Dominic Cruz is kind of sometimes a little bit bitchy.
I think he's a little bitchy. He needs to take a step back. You know, it's tough, bro.
You don't accept
unanswered shots, but at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. It's a championship fight. You let that dude get rocked in there, dog, until you know he ain't getting back. But I just want to say, Dominic Cruz. I did root for Dominic Cruz. I want him to come back after 4-year layoff, bro.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Avery, what's your point on that one, brother?
So, when you mentioned how he possibly might come back later on, I don't know, a couple years, takes a break, just like how GSP does, and you
I'm hearing an echo. Hold on, real quick. Hello? Echo. All right, we're good. We're good now. We're good. All right. Just want to check it. All right. Chris is fixing his headphones.
Okay, cool. But you mentioned how GSP, like how if he comes back, it'd be similar to a GSP fight. I don't think that would work, just because how many people don't like Cejudo in general. True. So it's like with the amount of people who don't like Cejudo because of the cringe, he wouldn't really get the money fight that he would, just because he's not as marketable in general. If he's not marketable now, he's not gonna be marketable in 2, 5.
They'll forget about him. They won't even want to talk about him. And another thing, we've also got to remember, how many times did GSP defend the world title? Henry Cejudo, yes, you win 2 belts, but you've defended each title 1 time. To me, that's not all that impressive. It's impressive that you defend a title and won a title. That's awesome. But if I'm looking at who is the greatest of all time, and he'll say it himself, he said, I'm not the greatest MMA fighter of all time. At least he admits that and he's honest about it. He says he's the greatest combat athlete because he won a wrestling gold medal and an MMA gold medal. But at the end of the day, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm not trying to shit on it, but it's not really a real thing. That's fantasy, bro. Are you the best fighter or are you not? I believe he is one of the best fighters right now, but I think he's dodging Peter Yan, who's on the rise a bit, because that kid's very scary. That kid's shown a lot of power, a lot of good striking, durability. So if I'm Henry Cejudo and I lose to Peter Yan, I tarnish my legacy. I heard it. I beat all these great legends and I lose to this guy. Let me retire. I get the mindset. The comeback, as you said, will not be GSP-like, but it will still be something. But what makes more sense to me would be him right now to say, fight one more time and go up in the challenge for the 45-pound title. Like, why not try to go for a 3rd belt? Let's take it all the way to the top. You're in the best shape of your life right now. It's your prime. Let's go. Don't wait 2 years and you come back and end up getting starched. At the end of the day, you can get old fast in MMA. One fight to the next, you can look like a whole different person. So capitalize on the momentum and fight the best. Exactly. Vacate the 135-pound title and go say, I want to fight. I want to be the quadruple C, whatever the fuck he wants. Forget about this bullshit of retiring. I want a family. I can't focus. Dude, right now you're a world-class fighter. You have a girlfriend. You're not married. You're not looking to have kids at this point. Fucking fight, bro. This is my opinion. I got pissed when he fucking retired. He's dodging these fights, and I don't give a fuck. I respect Henry Cejudo, and I'm a fan. I like Henry Cejudo, but you're dodging the fights. Okay, dodge Peter Yan, but call for the 145-pound title. do not retire. The retirement thing to me, I do not like. I don't like when guys retire when they're on top like that. It's cool, but I don't like when they retire having almost unproven, but then claiming this great status, you know? I don't like that. You beat Dominic Cruz, okay, you beat Mighty Mouse by a controversial up-in-the-air decision. You beat TJ Dillashaw. There's a lot of guys that want your head on a platter that want to fight you, and there's a lot of legendary rematches that can happen in trilogies. So this retirement to me is not the move. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and if he did go fight for the 145-pound title, and if he did lose, he's like, oh, he's going up 10, 20 pounds.
Still a good way to retire.
Yeah.
Retire off I challenge for the. Why do you need to retire off a win on Dominic Cruz that people will bring up was an early stoppage? People will bring up Cruz is coming off a loss. Cruz is coming off 3 years out the ring, 4 years out the ring. So to me, it's not really as impressive as he's believing. Yeah. Who is Dominic Cruz right now? Yes, he's a very great fighter, and we saw that. But at the end of the day, his legacy is behind him, right? His legacy is early 2000s. Oh, we just lost him. I don't know. That's just my opinion, my rant. I was a little bit upset by the retirement. I don't like it. I'd like him to fight one more time. But at the end of the day, I don't know what's in his heart. Maybe he really lost the passion for fighting. Maybe he did. But if he still has it, fight for another title.
Yeah, there was one theory that you were pitching to me earlier. Is hopefully all of this is just a whole sales tactic for himself. Yeah. Maybe his contract renewal is coming up, and this is just a marketing tactic for him to get
he said money talks at the press conference. So I think that he is kind of like, I don't need to fight anymore, but if you want to pay me, I'll fight again. So I think pay the man and get him another fight, and let's see if somebody can beat this guy.
Yeah, let's see if he's really worth all the hype.
Let's do it. I want to see the 45-pound title fight. Let's go.
One thing I imagine. So imagine Max Holloway fought Volkanovski. Max Holloway won. Cejudo wants to fight 145. He fights Max Holloway. Can you imagine this tall-ass twig fighting a short little stumpy guy?
I can't imagine it. I don't even want to see it. And I'm going to be honest with you, though. I don't think that Max Holloway and him is a good matchup. If I thought I'm not fighting Max Holloway if I'm him.
Yeah.
I want Volkanovski, and I want him now. Volkanovski is the beatable fighter. He's shorter, more even matchup. He goes in. He can possibly – and the wrestling skill of Henry Cejudo is elite level. I think he could probably give Volkanovski more problems than we're relieving, and he could win that fight. And then he vacates that title and just says, yeah, now I go out. That's how I want to see Henry Cejudo retire. Not off this win against Dominic Cruz. I want to see him fight one more time, and I want it to be for another belt. Go for it. Take it to the top, bro. You want to be the greatest combat athlete of all time, you say? Why not go the craziest shit? Try to win a third belt. 3 weight classes, never been done. That's what I want.
Wow. Ooh, now that is one hell of a goal, man. That's the first whole 3 belts.
If you want to take it to that level,
true elite
quadruple C. Let's go. That's what I want to see. That's my opinion.
Call that C4, dude.
C4 is
C4, baby.
Let's get to the next one, man. The main event. Well, dude,
Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje. Wow. What a fucking fight this was, man. Well, Tony real quick, who did everybody expect to win before we even start talking about this? What were your expectations going into this fight?
I predicted Ferguson to a decision. Okay. That's what I was thinking, but obviously I'm way off.
I had Ferguson. I didn't specify, but I would have assumed decision, yeah.
Okay.
I picked Gaethje, but I could see Ferguson pulling it off.
Okay, because I had gone with Gaethje too, just because I was going with the underdog vote at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And now to break this fight down, oh my God!
One of the most one-sided title fights I've ever seen. Now Justin Gaethje at least got dropped one time by Ferguson, give him some credit, but Tony Ferguson got beat up. He got dominated. He got cracked with punches that just would have knocked out anybody. And he ate them like a champion, but he took so much goddamn damage. I was so happy when they stopped it. I was ready. Do you remember when I was yelling at the screen, throw in the towel, throw in the fucking towel? Because you know what? At the end of the day, the damage this guy is taking right now is things that could end his career. Dude, I was like, thank God they stopped it. Tony Ferguson, he was hurt, man. He was beat up. When he got hit, he was shaking his head like Tony Ferguson didn't know what's happening. I'm like, was it his brain bleeding out or something? It's crazy.
Dude, that was insane. He literally looks like what he does to his opponents.
Worse.
Bro.
Just way worse.
Fractured his orbital, too.
Damn.
I was in shock, bro. I did not expect that. I know Justin Gaethje, we all know, bro. Aggressive, great hands. He's a great fighter, but I did not see that coming at all, bro.
Yeah,
at all, bro.
At all.
Oh my
dude! I thought he would knock him out early, if anything. If he was able to do it, I was expecting more a first, second round knockout. But he was able to carry power for 5 rounds. He's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to keep that up for 5 rounds, bro.
What's crazy is that I'm surprised that he was able to go 5 rounds, but the way that I saw how he fought, usually when he gets one clean punch, he'll go in and go all out, and he'll use all his energy to finish the fight. But what he did, which was actually really smart, he'd get a solid punch and he'd stay composed. He would just continue and just cleanly connect and not go overboard, not overextend, and not throw anything unsafe. And that's why he was able to go potentially 5 rounds.
And I think that was the strategy he needed to implement for someone like Tony. This man was a true zombie. He would take shots and just unfazed, stand up, and look perfectly focused till he was out, till he was a dead man walking. And we had to have the ref stop it while he was still on his feet.
Toughest man I've ever seen, bro. Toughest man on the fucking planet. Now, dude, Tony Ferguson also cut weight once before this month. So that, to me, is something that we're not talking about that people have brought up. Tony Ferguson cut weight for that April 18th fight on April 18th, I believe. And then he comes in less than a month later and has to cut that same amount of weight. That's not a good move. He's drained. I believe that may have affected his performance. People were bringing that up. I'm not saying he would have won, but he could not do anything. He didn't really throw the elbows. He didn't have his tools. Dude, the guy looked so like he didn't have it. It was stiff. He was off with his shots. He couldn't compete. He was slow. His reaction time was off. I think he was a drained fighter from that as well. Now, I'm not saying he would have beat Gaethje because Gaethje's a scary guy. But at the end of the day, it's something to consider.
Yeah. Gaethje really proved he had it in him after he got that first, almost knockdown. After that uppercut had landed from Tony, he turned it up. He turned it up to a whole new level. His coaches were even telling him, Gaethje fights with a very, power shot style. And his coaches were even telling him, okay, if you're going to shoot, if you're going to throw those power punches, at least time them well. And he did. He listened perfectly well. He listened to his coaches. He followed through in the ring, and it showed the performance. The performance was excellent by him. He was landing such clean, crisp power punches that just unbelievable, timing them perfectly to the counters of Tony.
Oh, it was sad for me, dude. Just I was happy, but it was sad for me for Tony Ferguson because that Khabib fight has been booked so many times, and he's still an intriguing matchup for Khabib. We're not going to get it. Now, I have an interesting take. Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson. Khabib, Justin Gaethje. Let's get the winners fighting each other. If Tony Ferguson beats Conor McGregor, give him the title fight. If Khabib beats dude, at the end of the day, either way, either we have a rematch between those two, and who knows, at the end of the day, Tony could turn it up, or we have a Conor McGregor-Gaethje fight, Conor McGregor versus Khabib fight, or you have a Khabib versus Tony Ferguson fight. The chance of it, I need the chance of it happening. I like that idea, man.
Dustin Poirier, he can beat him. Tony Ferguson on a great day.
I agree. I think Tony Ferguson beats Poirier for sure. His ground game is minimal.
He could be right back in the mix, bro.
Right there. So why not give him the Conor fight? Let's go crazy. Let's do it. Let's make something big. But at the end of the day, do they do that because they try to give Conor Nate? I don't want us to do it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to see Conor Nate. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I think Tony Ferguson, Nate, who wins that fight? I think Tony Ferguson beats him, right? So at the end of the day, Nate Diaz has lost multiple fights in his last. We need to stop with this, man. We need the elite fighting the elite in the division. Sure, Conor McGregor and him have had tough fights, but dude, I don't know if Nate Diaz will be the same guy. Who knows? Conor starches him. But now, if Nate Diaz beats Conor McGregor, you're killing all these other fights. Don't do that fight. Save that fight. If Conor McGregor fights and loses to Ferguson, you have the Diaz fight. If Conor McGregor beats Ferguson and loses to either Gaethje or Khabib, you still have the Nate Diaz fight. If he beats Gaethje or Khabib, you still have the Nate Diaz fight. If you go and do the Nate Diaz fight now, you can throw everything away. So don't do that. I'm a promoter. I'm not doing it.
That's a great point.
I don't even think Dana White sold on the Nate Diaz-Conor fight. He didn't seem...
He don't want it either. He's thinking like me. Yeah, he's like, no, that's a backup plan.
I love Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to see that right now, bro. I ain't trying to see that.
I'm not interested. I want to see Tony Ferguson versus Conor, dude. Why not? Why not? Let's go. They might do Dustin Poirier, Conor, Dustin Poirier, Ferguson. But I'm liking the idea of Tony Ferguson, Conor. But the thing is, I don't want it so quick. Dustin Poirier's been on the shelf. Dustin Poirier's chilling. So maybe Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor's the fight to make.
Ooh, you know what? They're talking about Jorge Masvidal fighting Conor McGregor at 175.
See, at 170, you mean?
Or I mean 170.
I was
Sorry.
about to say, what are they doing? A catch weight? I'm like, what the fuck?
Sorry.
Dude, I actually thought it was a crazy idea they come up with. I'm not liking that idea, to be honest, but I don't know. I'm not the UFC. Like, I like the fight, but I'm a guy that still is very strong belief in champions. You want to be the champ. You're not here just for, the big fights. Like, I like to see championship fights. The champions should be fighting the top contenders. So to me, I want to see Conor McGregor trying to strive towards a world title. And the Jorge Masvidal fight is a big fight, and it's an interesting fight, and we could do it. But the other side of me thinks, well, why don't we wait and try to do something else, and that fight could still be there. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I guess if they want to do that, they can. I'm thinking somehow we got to get a few interesting matches. Maybe you do Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz or something crazy like that. I don't know.
Dude, I'll take that too.
I don't think that Nate will sign up for that fight, though.
I want Tony to get back in the mix, man.
Could you do me a favor and pull up the UFC lightweight rankings for me? I need to know who's at the top. I know they're not going to be updated right now, but it's still good to check. Because I don't know, man. It's like I want to see Tony Ferguson get his respect. 13-fight win streak. I don't give a shit you lose. That doesn't cancel out the 13 fights in a row.
Mm-hmm. And what you mentioned with him cutting weight twice, we all know that definitely affected his performance. But Tony Ferguson's the guy to say that's not the reason why I lost.
Tony said no, but I mean, I don't want to give him excuses, but dude.
The thing about Tony I madly respect is that he don't make any excuses.
Yeah, he doesn't make any excuses.
He won't. But
the rankings, if you still wanted them, for the lightweight, we got number 1 spot is Tony Ferguson. Number 2, Dustin Poirier, right? Poirier. And then 3, Conor McGregor. 4, Justin Gaethje. And 5, we got Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Number 5 is Cowboy Cerrone?
That's way off.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're changing. What is Pettis ranked? Is he not even ranked?
Pettis is not on the top 5.
Who's 6 then? Who's 6 right now?
Anthony.
This website's telling me top 5 at the moment.
That's definitely not updated.
Yeah, that's a little.
Not even.
Is that the UFC website?
Nah, it was
because I don't even remember Cerrone being ranked within the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay, now I got it. There we go.
Let's see.
Okay, now we got Tony Poirier, McGregor, Gaethje, Dan Hooker is number 5. And
I like Dan Hooker. Bro.
Then Cerrone is 6. Paul Felder is 7. Okay. And then if you want me to keep going.
Give me 8.
Like
8 is Oliveira.
Charles
Oliveira is very dangerous. Okay, so I'm in a tricky situation. If I'm the UFC, who do I put Tony Ferguson in against? Why do I want to put him way back, right? At the end of the day, Conor McGregor right now makes the most sense to me.
I'm thinking that too.
That makes the most sense. And the winner of that fight gets a world title fight. I don't give a shit. He's lost a fight. I don't care. At the end of the day, if he beats Conor McGregor, I'm giving him a world title fight. Because to me, you need to give this man his due respect. He won 13 in a row. He won the interim title. He lost on short notice to Justin Gaethje. Yes, he was training. But at the end of the day, he was training for Khabib Nurmagomedov, who's a grappler. And then he has to switch his training to the total opposite and fighting a pure striker. So to me, that's a factor we got to remember. So to me, as I say, to me like 20 times. But honestly, in my opinion, I think he's still in the mix, and we need to do a big fight for him. Give the man his respect. Give him Conor. Let's
definitely give him Conor. We don't want to see that.
But I don't know when they can do it. That's the thing. How long? What if Conor wants to wait? He says, "Oh, I want to wait till fans are back." Maybe Tony Ferguson needs that break until fans are back.
Mm-hmm. Tony might need a little bit of time off anyway.
He needs at least 6 months, dude. At
yeah.
least. I think maybe 9 months.
Fair enough.
Nah.
Scary.
Mm-hmm.
Sad to see him lose, but great for Gaethje. He goes on to fight Khabib. That's a scary fight. I think that Khabib Nurmagomedov, if he cannot get Justin Gaethje to the ground, is in for a lot of danger. Justin Gaethje could silence him.
Oh, yeah. Especially seeing his striking in that fight. Sorry, Avery. You go ahead. That was all I had to say. Seeing his striking.
We all know Khabib's the grappler he is, but even when he gets Gaethje to the ground, I feel like Gaethje will still put up a pretty decent fight because he was an All-American in college in wrestling. Yeah. So he has a very solid background in that. So he'll give him – I feel like he'd be able to get up a couple of times when they get him to the ground. But, dude, I don't know. We don't know about Khabib's chin because Poirier, when he fought him, clipped him a couple of times, and he didn't look that
And Poirier don't have the hands like Gaethje at all. But power-wise, yes, they fought, and Gaethje lost that fight years ago. But this is a different Gaethje. This is demonic Gaethje.
Yeah,
this Gaethje is a completely different animal.
Different level, bro. I can't believe what I just saw from Gaethje.
No, I didn't even believe it. He fucking damaged him.
He beat this guy down while on his feet. Like, Tony would not go out, but that doesn't mean Gaethje couldn't take him out still. Like,
dude, insane. I remember when Gaethje was putting him up against the cage, and Tony's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta get out," and he'd be like twirling around, ducking, trying to get through. No matter what he did, like, I'm not getting punched this dude. Oh. And I've never seen that like him. I'm like, dude, this man is actually not who he's been for the past winning streak.
Yeah. He wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't the same guy, but it's. I believe the weight cut drained him. I think that's a factor we got to consider. I think that we can't say, okay, Tony, you lost. Here's the number 10 guy in the world. No. You give him Conor McGregor or you give him Dustin Poirier. I need him fighting elite talent. He deserves it. He's beaten everybody that you put in front of him besides Justin Gaethje. He cut weight for you twice. Give this man his respect. Give him the Conor fight or the Poirier fight. That's my opinion. That's what's next.
Agreed, bro.
Agreed, man. Preach.
That's it. Well, that was a great UFC 249 talk. That was pretty much it. If you guys have anything to add.
No.
No, I'm excited for the upcoming events.
The upcoming events are going to be sick. More videos coming on the channel. Guys, we appreciate you for watching. This is the Cage MMA Podcast, episode 3 with AJ and the Savages. Signing off. See you guys in the next video.